coming and looking at it. Here he comes.
That's a crappie.
Got my little grandboy this morning. There's Colby and Brady. And if we can keep the wind from...
They didn't like it moving.
If the wind keeps from blowing us off, we might can catch any, but every time you do a video, you know the wind's gonna blow. I'm trying to stay on this thing.
They didn't like it moving.
He said they don't want it moving, we gotta keep it right in their mouth. Of course it ain't but 95 degrees these days that we having right here. But well, one of them's getting ready. I got it set on just spot lock, and that's not the best in the world because my transducer's sitting on the trolling motor. But honestly, I mean, this is all you got is these buttons. That's my forward range, and I keep it about 35 feet. And then, you know, you mash that button and there's your down and your sensitivity, and that's really all that we're doing. All right, you drop down there on it, Colby.
Oh, me?
No. Straight out and hold it down, hold it down. And we're in a pretty good spot right now. All right, there goes one down. We're right on top of it. Out there about 15 feet, and they just running all over it. All right, I'm out here about 15 feet. I'm going to cast toward the front of the bow. I mean, toward the front of the boat. There it goes down. I'm going to stop it right on top of it. And the wind's got me again. There he is. Coming up. Hey, just a little old fish, but like I said, we're just trying to do a video. Trying to do a video, and like I said, you can use minnows or jigs. Today we're trying to use minnows because it's such a sluggish bite and trying to do a video. But what I'm using, I mean, this is my 10-foot stump jumper jig pole and just a little old 500 series reel. That's what we're after today. So let's go try to get us another one. Most of y'all that know me know that I'm not a rich man, but I'm not a dumb man either. And I'm going to tell you about my experience with the Garmin Livescope. You know, first of all, let's explain. I don't need a Livescope. You don't need a Garmin Livescope. For years, we've been able to catch fish and being fine. But Garmin's got this technology now that it has added the pizzazz. I mean, it has really brought crappie fishing to a new level for people like me and just any ordinary everyday person. You know, just makes it so much funner. You know, you can do it, you can have fun all year long with it. You know, just, you know, doing the video game. Take your grandkids, they love that thing. But what I'm getting at is that I've just never got one. You know, they've been out a couple of years. And I'm one of these fellas that, you know, I work hard for my money. So everybody's getting these Livescopes. So I go with all these people, my buddies, they got these Livescopes. And every time I go with these things, I'm just totally amazed with them. Until finally, you know, I seen him do this, and I seen him do that, and I seen him do that, until I decided, okay, I've watched him upgrade. Now this is what I want. So I ended up spending some big dollars. I'm going to tell you right now, but you know, if you're going to do it right. I got one of them 12-22s, and it doesn't have none of the fancy stuff because I said, you know, it's on the front of my boat. I don't need a side image. I got a side image, but if you got it on the front of the boat, you ain't really moving fast. That side image ain't gonna do you no good. I wanted something simple, and I'm telling you right now, you know, as you can see, watch my video, it's got nothing. You can take it out of the box from the factory and plug it up and use it. It's good. It's so simple. Honestly, mine's got about 4 buttons. I've got forward range, I got the depth, I got my sensitivity knob, and if you want a different color screen, I use this black and emerald screen. That's pretty well all I use. Now, I'm not going to explain how to use it, I don't know, but if you do, there's 10,001 YouTube videos out there that every one of them knows how to use it, and they'll tell you how to use it. I'm just telling you from my point of view, it's the easiest thing you will ever use. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. He said it. I didn't. There's one coming up. He's just a eating fish. Oh, whoa. He's just a eating fish. But as far as these things go, as how to set them up, I'm going to tell you, I don't know how to set them up. And like I said, just out of the box, they working fine. But if you really want to know how to tweak them and get them perfect and all, like I said, you go on YouTube, there's 10,000 videos. But my suggestions, the one that's helped me better than anything, is if you go on Facebook, there is a forum on Facebook, Garmin Livescope tips and techniques. That's as good as I have seen as far as finding out information. Those fellas, they some smart dudes on there, and they can really, I found out a lot just by watching them. I mean, just listening to them and some of the stuff that they post. You know, I would suggest doing that. Right straight out in front of us. And my transducer pretty well lines up with the front of the way the head goes. So I just pitch straight out in front, and here it goes down. We're going right on top of them. There he is. Now I'm going to put this thing on spot lock. Keep myself in the thing. They just half-pound fish. But it's just like playing a video game. And you know me, I'll save my mana. Let's see if we can catch another one. Get back. There goes my bait down. There he come after it. There he comes. Oh man, I lost him. But as you can see, you know, all I do is just, I got a little old 1/32 number 6 hook and a little old split shot with a minnow, or sometimes they use a jig, and you just pitch it in, and I see that thing fall out there and it drops down, and you'll swing it right across that brush or whatever, and they'll come up and look at it and they'll do this. Sometimes they'll run away, but sometimes they'll bite it. I mean, it's the funnest thing in the world. You know, but that don't mean they're gonna bite all the time, and then I go back to the same tail. You know, it ain't so much that you needed this thing. You've been doing this all along, and you know, I'm gonna tell you something right now, you know, that you probably don't even want to hear, but I'm gonna tell it to you anyway. Holy crap, y'all. Don't hang up, because he's really going to do it this time. Alright, I got fish sitting right on top of that tree right there. There he is. Let's see here what we got. Oh yeah. That's a pretty good fish right there. Got him on a spot lock right now to keep us close. Okay, boys. There he is. And this thing's got a 20-degree cone. So the closer you are to the boat, the less apt it is to see it, because that cone gets wider and wider. For instance, a 20-degree angle, about 25 feet gives you about 8 foot. Now we're out there far enough, I'm going to try to cast it. Alright, there I come. It's coming down. And we'll drift right across the top. Show you how sensitive it is. There's a bright white spot right there. That's my jug holding that brush pile up. Now technology has exploded in probably, you know, last 20 years or something like that. They've come out with this and they've come out with that. They've come out with this. And I'm going to say the revolution really started when you had the side image. I mean, all of a sudden everybody's getting the side image. Oh, this is a game changer if you ain't got that side image. you ain't fishing. You know, so everybody had to get this side image. And now comes up Garmin with it. I'm telling you, probably the best innovation they've ever been made for crappie fishing. Now everybody's got to have this Livescope. Bless Garmin, bless their soul. You know, like I said 100 times, I'd love to have some stock in them. But here's where you come up. Here's the problem that we're running into. Now that we've got social media, okay? We've got YouTube, Facebook, and I'm probably one of them anyway. I post videos on there, but I do try to sell a fishing rod every now and then. But, you know, everybody's got this, and all of a sudden, you've got more pros that's hitting the market than anything. They getting up there, and they absolutely know how to run this side image. And they absolutely, now these Livescopes, everybody, you got to do this Livescope, you got to do this Livescope, you got to do this Livescope. But 99 out of 100 of them are sitting on a brush pile. We caught fish on a brush pile for years. We didn't have a Livescope. And now you've got $10,000, $12,000 worth of electronics on that boat that you got, and you say, well, I'm pretty well all but pro status right now. You know, be it my local tournaments, be it my meteor level, be it my high level, yeah, ACT tournaments, stuff like this. I'm ready to fish this. Well, I hate to break the news to you. You know, you still, if you ain't been a winner before, you ain't going to be a winner now, other than a blind hog finding an acorn, okay? You still going to get you a butt waxed, simply because these guys that's been on top for the past years, you know, they're still going to be on top. They still going to take your money. And it's going to be, they're going to like it when you enter the tournament because it makes the paydays bigger. And, you know, I'm going to get into that right now just a second, just to tell you that, you know, if you keep this thing as I love the fish product, this is something good, you're going to be a whole lot happier unless you do what I'm getting ready to tell you. Oh, now that's going to hurt some people right there. He broke my line. They tough to bite, but that's a pretty good fish right there. Go back and try to get another. All right, here comes my brush at 35 feet. That's my whole Livescope. Down here is my GPS. That's all I need for a GPS. This has a built-in GPS, but that's not what I bought it for. I wanted that big screen. All right, 25 foot, I'm showing fish out there. Here's one. See him coming up? Nothing to him, I don't think. He's just a little old bitty thing. Getting to the point you're just about tickled to catch something today. Let's see if there's anything else on there. There it comes. He's just eating fish. Come right off the bottom down there. A little bit better fish, I believe. Yeah. I need to change this line. Now, if you had a load like that, you'd be okay. £1.5 pounds. All right, let's go back, see if we can find some more right down in there. All right, let's start from the beginning. You've been fishing these events, you've been doing this, you've been fishing, and throughout, as long as you've been fishing, you always hear that guy, that son of a gun's good. You know, you have a tournament. Oh, anybody but Hawkins. You know, anybody but Duke, anybody but Huckstetler and Coon. You know, you always hear this stuff coming up. You know, these fellas have always been able to catch, but here's what they doing. You've got all this $12,000 worth of equipment, and right now you don't know what you got sitting on that boat. And I'll give you a prime example of two of the best fishermen around, and I'll tell anybody, one of them's as good as the other, Ronnie Capps and Steve Coleman. Them boys have been wearing your butt out for ages and ages and ages. And I can remember, oh God, 15, 20 years ago, Ronnie Capps was talking, he was telling us about, we was at a tournament, he was telling us about his side image. They used to have depth finders hung to poles, sticking out the side of the boat so they could get a wider view. That's how they started. And here's what these fellas are doing. You know, they've got the side image, they've got this, they've got the three, they've got everything you can think of, but they're not really, you know, they're looking at that unit. But I can promise you, they're not riding around. Oh, there's a brush pile right there. Man, I got 250 brush piles I got marked on that lake. They're not doing that. They're using this equipment. They're using this Livescope now. You know, they're watching the actions. They're watching how these fish are moving. They're watching the reactions to the bait. They're watching the reactions to the sunlight. They're using this thing right here. And that's why for ages, these fellas has been on top. They've been winning. They've been consistently at the top. And that's because that's not their main tool that they're using. They're using this right here, and here's what it is. I step on your toes, I don't care. Now that everybody's got this equipment, all they do is ride around. And look, all they do is ride around. They're not using that thing to think what these fish are doing. And like I said, Garmin has put out some technology that is unreal. And what few times that I fish it, I have seen these fish. I said, look at that son of a gun there. You wouldn't know these fish would drop down and get out of the way of the boat, especially when you're just moving along a little bit. You wouldn't know these bigger fish is hanging out over here around that stump, is around that brush pile. You know, they using these things, they're looking at these points, they say, well, you know, these fish ought to be on these points, these fish ought to be on these ledges. They checking everything out, they checking their side image, and now, you know, when they get down to nitty gritty, they break out that Livescope and they just checking. Let me just see what these fish are doing here in the river. Let me see what these fish are doing out here. They're not really checking out that brush. Push comes to shove, well, let's go, you know, let's go fish a brush pile. But push comes to shove, when it comes down to reality, they're looking somewhere that might have a few fish that they can catch that nobody knows about. Nobody's even thought about looking. Everybody's looking at brush. They're looking at one stump over here on a point that's got fish on it. And that's where I get back. I mean, you know, I don't want to step on nobody's toes, but don't, you know, nobody's going to be a pro. Let's just put it like this. There's not enough money. And I go back to Capps and Coleman, right? In my opinion, they're the only boys that's ever won enough money that I say, you know, I've done pretty good fishing. There's a few that I can't really call the names or nothing like that. And you've got local guys who's winning tournaments around your area, and you've got guys around the states. But, you know, keep in mind that those guys aren't doing exactly what you think they're doing. And when they beat your butt, you know, you're wondering, you're scratching your head, well, I was right there beside that son of a gun. No, you wasn't. he was over there fishing this stump and you was fishing that brush pile that he done seen there wasn't nothing worth fishing on. But I'll leave it at that. But I mean, I'll tell you right now, I'm just going to tell you my review of it. That is probably, Garmin has probably hit the best thing, you know, that the market that I have seen in my time of crappie fisherman. It is remarkable. So if you ain't got one, especially if you're going to fish competitive, or even if you want to have fun, get you one. You know, if you can save you money, get that bigger screen, because especially for blind men, it really works fantastic. So, you know, I'm going to tell you, you know, Garmin, I am tickled to death with what y'all have done, and I hope everybody gets one. I hope I didn't step on your toes, but if I did, you'll get over it. Well, you heard it. Yeah. I just hope you two don't chew his butt up. But if they do, y'all remember, if you need any fishing rods, you know, check me out. Or check him out, I'm sorry, check Ed out. www.southerncrappierods.com. Have a good one. See you next time.